Cash equivalent transfer values, or CETVs, and 2023, what can we expect? Okay, so today's video, I'm going to be covering off what we can expect in 2023. Will they be better or worse than 2022? What your strategy should be in attaining CETVs, and the importance of having an ongoing relationship with your financial advisor. So, number one, anybody who's been looking at their cash equivalent transfer value from their final salary scheme will know during 2022, if you did not move at the start of the year in 2022, your CETV would have dropped over the course of the year. Now, for some clients, their CETV dropped a little bit, but you know what? They wanted to get on with it anyway. It was important financial planning for them. They believe the benefits of moving outside of a scheme outweighed the advantages of keeping their scheme, and they wanted to get an authorized pension transfer specialist to review and give them the opportunity to move out of their DB scheme if they wish to. Other clients looked at it and said, you know what, I had a significant drop in my CETV. This isn't really a high priority for me. It was something I was kind of looking at in the background. I'm happy to wait to see what happens in 2023. I understand that DB advice market is going to shrink. Maybe the advice is going to get more expensive. Maybe there's going to be less availability advice, but I would rather wait. So as we're looking into 2023, there is a possibility that your CETVs could increase over the course of 2023. There is also, of course, the opportunity that they could get worse. Generally speaking though, if we look at what's happening in the economy at the moment, inflation is getting somewhere around peaked. I know you see some crazy figures and stuff in the media right now, but if you actually look at basic things, how much does a shipping container cost right now to send from Asia to America? It is plummeted in cost. How much are certain foods costing to ship now? Again, they've plummeted in cost. Oil and gas, same thing there. We've had a bit of a peak. So what this means is inflation is starting to come to its peak, or potentially has already tailed off by the time this video goes live. So what we can really understand from that is that the Fed and the Bank of England aren't necessarily going to have to keep raising interest rates at such a high level. The Fed have already pretty much gone on record to say we won't be seeing as higher or aggressive interest rate rises as we've previously seen over the course of 2022. We might still have further increases, but they won't be as aggressive. So what does all this mean in terms of your CETV? Well, your CETV, the 95% in my personal experience of the value, is derived from either the 10 or the 20-year gilt rate, or whichever gilt rate your DB scheme is using. That gilt rate, or the gilt rate for the 10 or 20 year, you have to look at that and understand where that is, and that will give you a good indication of your CETV. We've seen that coming back down again. It's around towards 3.2 at the time of recording, which is pretty good and starting to give some more reasonable CETVs. Once we see that dropping closer towards 3 and below 3, that's when we can really start to understand the CETVs are going to get a little bit more appetizing for people again. So your strategy for 2023 is, don't try and do this on your own. I always say to my clients, you only get charged with Cameron James when you proceed with any advice or you become a client of ours. Anything we do for you before that is for free. Okay, now this does lead us to potentially being taken advantage of. Some clients can make you do tons of work for them, they have no interest in transferring their pension. But to be honest, we're pretty good, well versed at spotting those types of clients. We don't want to do work for free if we don't think there's any possibility of making any money. But generally speaking, let us do all the work for you for free. Let us tell you when you should be attaining your CETV, doing all the paperwork, doing your LOAs. You're still in control of everything. Clients often have this idea that, like, if they request a CETV, like, it somehow tells the actuaries they maybe want to leave and they're going to get a lower CETV. It doesn't work like that. You think the actuaries would be allowed to do that? It would be utterly illegal. So this whole idea that by completing an LOA or having a financial advisor, you're somehow making these steps to transfer your scheme and you can't go back. Not at all. You're just getting the information, all the information we provided for you to make an informed decision. So that'll be my strategy for 2023. Stay on the ball, but get and decide who you want to work, whether it's ourselves at Cameron James, or you think there's another outfit out there who's even better than us, more transparent, more cost effective, better reviews, better testimonials, whatever it is. Work out that relationship first. Have your relationship with your IFA and say, look, I'm serious about transferring my DB, but I do want to get a good CETV. What is your advice? What do you think would be acceptable for my CETV, and what strategy could we go ahead with to try and achieve the highest CETV possible? Now, any pension transfer specialists watching this will be saying, obviously, a CETV is not the biggest factor in terms of pension transfer. Suitability of your pension transfer, i.e. either it being suitable for you to move away from final salary scheme or unsuitable for you to move away from final salary scheme, is what defines the outcome of the report. Whether your CETV is 500 grand, 600 grand, or 700 grand is not the biggest factor anymore. This used to be referred back to as a critical yield analysis, which formed a massive part of final salary schemes. However, regulation and guidance has now ensured that it's more about the soft things in a person's lifestyle. What can and can't they achieve with their DB scheme? Why should they take the risk of moving out of their DB scheme, etc., based on their own personal situation. So guys, those would be my tips for 2023 CETVs and trying to attain one. And I would just say, do always please remember that your CETV, whilst it is valuable, you might have an issue in the coming years with the availability of DB advice over the course of that period. If you're not able to get DB advice in, say, 3 or 4 years, it's irrespective of what CETV you may be offered, because a whole advice market might not be available for you anymore. Now, I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, but the way that we're seeing the market shrink, if you look at the data over the course of the past 3 to 4 years, the industry has basically shrunken in half in terms of the number of authorized IFAs working in the market. I do not see this changing. I do not see there being more IFAs in the market, or it's suddenly getting cheaper, easier, or the FCA and the TPR suddenly decide, oh, actually, you know what, we don't need all this regulation, people can do what they want with their pensions. I don't see it happening. So the industry is going to get tighter, more expensive, and more difficult to operate in, which is only going to increase the cost to make it more difficult to get advice. That's not a scare tactic to say you must do it now, or you won't be able to do it in the future, but you need to be mindful of that. If you don't like the report fees and the advice fees that are currently being offered by advisory firms, then you're certainly not going to like them potentially in 5 years' time, because I think the market is going to get squashed and squashed and squashed, and those charges are going to get more expensive. Guys, I hope this has been useful for you. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share the channel. Thank you very much.